What looked like it was going to end up being a dud of a night ended up turning into straight electricity. And the Chicago Cubs had a comeback win at the bottom of the ninth. Let's talk about it. Yo, 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 yo. Good day, good people. It's your boy, Mike Jones, back again with another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. Hey, do you want to be a part of the show? Do you want to have your voice heard? Hey, there's a couple ways you could do that. First and foremost, you can do that by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the network. Secondly, you can do that by leaving me a voicemail at 217-816-5498 or at cubsbaseball1992@gmail.com. Or last but not least, you can get active in those comments because you know we love to talk, chat it up in the comment section. And again, this is the place where the voice of the Chicago fan lives. So I appreciate each and every last one of you for tuning in to any of our channels here on the Chi-Town Sports Central Network. However, I was all ready to come on here and to go crazy. I was going to tell you guys, listen, don't let the kids listen to this episode. This one is strictly for the adults because I had some choice words for some choice people that's a part of the Cubs team that were wearing the white and blue pinstripes tonight. However, the Chicago Cubs and specifically Nico Horner, Justin Turner, and Moises Ballesteros were able to foil that by hitting a walk-off double in the bottom of the ninth inning to allow the Chicago Cubs to get their 25th win of the season. The Cubs improved to 25-18 on the season, while the Miami Marlins fall to 15-26 on the season. And again, you know, a lot of people will say, well, Mike, all's well that ends well. Chicago Cubs won the game, right? That was the main thing that you wanted. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. However, it's the way that the Chicago Cubs had to win this game. Now, again, I know beggars can't be choosers. We're trying to vie for our first playoff spot in like 4 years. However, it annoyed me how throughout the game, certain players in certain key moments just did not deliver. And to be quite frankly honest with you guys, if I'm going to be the one to come down on Dansby Swanson, Seiya Suzuki, even PCA at times, then Kyle Tucker is no different. I mean, granted, this may be his one and only year in Chicago. He may be a Los Angeles Dodger by next year. Who knows? But at the same time, I myself cannot sit here and call myself an objective Cubs sports caster, podcaster, whatever you want to call me, or even just an objective Cubs fan and not mention the fact that Kyle Tucker has been slumping over the last month. The last 30 days have not looked great for Kyle Tucker. And it's seemingly alarming because it's the big moments that we need him for. And it's the big moments that we have to have him for. And it's those big moments that we need him to come through for. Now, granted, I'm not saying every single big moment he hasn't delivered. Kyle Tucker has delivered some big moments. Like I said, some big hits, scored some runs and done his thing. But this offense was slumping today. And there comes a time where you want to be able to hand the ball over to your superstar and say, take us there. Or bring your superstar up to the plate and say, take us there. And for me, when I looked at the Chicago Cubs getting Kyle Tucker, these type of games are the games where I wish that he would show up more, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Because it just feels like, you know, he's out of it and he's slumping right along with everybody else. You know, we look at today's game. We look at today's game, and it is, you know, you got PCA going 2 for 3, and then you got Kyle Tucker going 0 for 4. You got Seiya Suzuki going 0 for 4. You got Michael Busch going 1-for-4, Carson Kelly going 1-for-4, Dansby Swanson 0-for-2, Ballesteros going 0-for-4, you know, Nico Horner going 1-for-3, and then Nicky Lopez went 0-for-2, and then obviously Justin Turner comes in and gets that pinch hit third base. Also plays third base and gets that pinch hit double to win the baseball game for the Chicago Cubs. But you look at this and you think to yourself, you're like, man, in a series against the Miami Marlins, who are not known to have, to be one of the best teams, obviously, in the league, you would assume that Kyle Tucker would be able to come through this game and be able to handle business. And to me, I just felt like there's been this lackluster effort on the offensive front from Kyle Tucker. I feel as though I have not seen legit Kyle Tucker do much since the Chicago Cubs came back and won that game. I think it was against the Diamondbacks a couple of weeks ago. I feel like he's been missing since then. And I feel, and granted, he's hit home runs since then. He's had moments, he's had base hits and things like that since then. I mean, he had a triple the night before. But his numbers and the consistency of which he provides offense for the Chicago Cubs, I feel like has severely dropped. And I'm wondering what's going on with Kyle Tucker. What is going on with Kyle Tucker? What is happening that he is not producing as we had hoped that he would have? And again, against the tougher teams, I get it. Like I said, against the best pitchers in the world, I get it. But against the Marlins, come on, man. You got the White Sox this weekend. I expect at least 3 home runs this weekend from Kyle Tucker. Some of it is hidden into bad luck. But there's also a lot of it that's just not, I don't know. I don't know if he's just not squaring the ball up, if he's just not getting good pitches to hit. But what's happening? What's going on that Kyle Tucker is not able to provide this team with the offense that it needs? It's kind of worrisome. Do I think that this is something that's going to plague Kyle Tucker long term? No. No, I don't think that. But you kind of start looking around after a while. It's kind of how I felt at the beginning of the season. We're back on the other channel. I'm looking around and I'm like, hey, Cubs kind of rolling, but where's Kyle Tucker at, guys? And then boom, out of nowhere, rolls off a month of just killing, insane numbers, MVP conversation type numbers. He kind of drops off the face of the earth again. He's back to looking normal. And it just makes you wonder, like, yo, like what's the deal, Kyle? Players slump. Players have bad luck. Yesterday's game was a perfect example of that because of the simple fact that, the front line of the offense is slumping. Kyle Tucker, Seiya Suzuki, Michael Busch for sure. Carson Kelly has cooled off. But then you got Dansby Swanson heating up. You got Nico Horner heating up. Justin Turner took care of business tonight. PCA at the front line had himself a game today. You look at these numbers, guys, and you say to yourself, that the Chicago Cubs have what it takes to go far because they can depend on that back order. Sometimes it'll be a back order, sometimes it'll be the top of the order. But still, you expect your superstars to play like superstars. Kyle Tucker went 0-for-4 in this game, 0 hits, 0 runs, 0 RBIs. He has a .262 batting average as of right now. Do I expect him to stay there? No. He'll finish the season or somewhere around either 290 into the 300s, probably, I would assume. But I guess for me, I want to see him take advantage of playing these lower level teams. Like, knock the cover off the ball, Kyle. These are the teams you're supposed to be taking advantage of. Beat the hell out the White Sox this weekend. Take advantage of Miami. You're going to see them twice. These are the games I want to see Kyle Tucker take advantage of. And I hope that, like I said, tomorrow, in tonight's game at 6:40, that he's able to do so. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys at all worried about Kyle Tucker? That's our question of the day. Are you at all worried about Kyle Tucker and the slump that he seems to be in? Are you worried about it at all? Do you have any concerns? Let me know your thoughts. If I'm tripping, as always, we family. You can tell me, like, Mike, you're tripping. He'll be fine. But if you kind of like me, you kind of starting to look around like, Kyle, like, come on, brother, do something. And kind of keep us going here. You know? Let's see what happens. We got Miami, and then we got the White Sox this weekend. So I'm excited for both. I appreciate everybody that's tuning into these episodes, everybody that's watching, whether you are on Spotify, whether you're on Apple, whether you are on YouTube, whether you are on X. I appreciate each and every last one of you that tune into these episodes, that watch this show. I appreciate you so much. Please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the network. Once again, this is your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. That's right. This is Chicago Cubs Central, part of the Chi-Town Sports Central family. I appreciate each and every last one of you. Until next time, fly that W. That's right. We got another W. That's right. 25-18 on the season. Don't forget about flying that W. Every single time the Chicago Cubs win, we fly the W here on the Chicago Cubs Central page. Appreciate each and every last one of you. Until next time, go Cubs, go. I'm Mike Jones. Peace.
Thank you for watching another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, the number one spot for all Chicago Cubs content. Remember to like, share, subscribe for more Cubs content.